y'all, it's Heather, and I'm so excited because I have the newest collection from Oden's Eye. We've got an eyeshadow palette, blushes, highlighters. I've got 3 looks and a full review for you. Let's start off by talking about the newest palette. This is part of the Solmane collection, and this is the Moon Wish palette, which I love that name. Look at this packaging. We love a theme here. I love a theme, and the color story inside is just as beautiful. We have purples and blues and neutrals and a pop of yellow, a little bit of pinky tones. We have the beautiful Oden's Eye formulas. In these 3 looks, I'm gonna use every single shade in the palette, so I have really been putting this to the test. I'm super thankful that Oden's Eye sends out their collections really early so that I have been playing with this and testing this for a while. I can actually give you a full review and not just a first impression on this palette. This packaging is just so beautiful too. Like, I love how it kind of shifts. I loved the design. Everything about it I love. But let's talk about the cheek products now. It has been years since Oden's Eye gave us blushes and highlighters, and I love their blush and highlight formula. So I was thrilled when I saw these were going to be part of the launch. The blushes are going to come in the sunny orange component, whereas the highlighters are going to be in the moon purple component. I did my best to get flat lays of these so you could really see the embossing in the pan. We do have 2 matte blushes, 1 glowy blush, and 3 highlighters in this collection. I did use all 3 blushes and all 3 highlighters on my face. I wanted to make sure you could see how they were applied and not just how they were swatched, but this is a great formula from Oden's Eye. I have always loved their blushes and highlighters, and to see them expanding the line just makes me so happy. Their packaging is so luxe. I feel like you get a full experience when you look at their blushes and highlighters. Like, every single detail is so beautiful. Something that may be overlooked easily, but that really stands out to me, is on the back of the component, you not only have the name of the shade, but you kind of have a picture of what color is inside, so you know what you're reaching for without opening up the compact. The blushes are pigmented, but they blend easily. The highlighters are sparkly. They look wet on the cheek. None of this collection has any pressed glitter or anything like that. These are all just so sparkly and intense without having that pressed glitter. I appreciate that all of the cheek products blend beautifully as well. You're not gonna end up with like a stripe on your cheek or something like that, and they last throughout the day. You can wear these all day long and not worry about your blush fading. I will put the date that this collection is available down below in the description box. I'll also put it in a pinned comment, and my affiliated code with Oden's Eye is Heather. If you're ever shopping their site and you want to get a discount, you can use that code. I am excited to share my 3 looks with y'all. I think I created 3 looks that are all very different from one another, so let's jump into it. To start off our eye look, I'm gonna go in with Dust, and I'm also gonna be using Saturn. These 2 pretty warm brown shades. I'm gonna start with the shade Dust, and I'm just gonna put that kind of all in my socket right here, kind of in what you may call your crease, but because I'm 36 and have deep set eyes, I've got a lot of creases. So I'm just gonna press it on like that and then bring it up and out and just kind of fluff it all around. Now I'm gonna take Saturn, that darker color that has like more warmth to it than that first shade. The first shade's a little like neutral, which a neutral shade like this will pull more cool on my olive warm skin. Really liking that we have this warm brown option too. I'm just kind of pressing it on the lid at the lash line, and then I'm gonna drag it kind of up and out to give myself that definition right in the outer corner. I also want to put this shade all under my lower lash line. Now that we have these 2 matte shades down, I want to stick with this top row, kind of this matte yellowy shade, this beautiful sparkly shade called Moon, and then Meteor. So these 3 shades on the top row. Now I did spray my shimmer after I picked it up on my brush, and I want to just kind of press this pretty shade right to the center of my lid. I just sprayed my brush with a little bit of setting spray, makeup mist, whatever you want to use is fine. Just helps with intensity and a little bit of fallout, but I'm keeping this right to the center of my lid. Now I'm taking the shade called Moon. I also picked this up on my brush, sprayed it with a little bit of setting spray, and I'm going to put this on the inner part of my lid, and I'm going to use it to kind of like blend a little bit too, so I don't have any harsh lines. I'm using this shade in such a small area So you're not gonna see a ton of the reflex, like multicolor reflect to it that's stunning. And once I have that done like that, I'll kind of go back with the other brush and just kind of make sure that I'm blended and it's not choppy or anything. Now I'm gonna take the shade Star and I'm gonna pop it right here on the inner corner for a little bit of that like yellow matte to transition between this warm brown on the lower lash line to the sparkle that we have going on our lid. All right, y'all, here is our finished eye look. I just threw on some eyeliner and a half lash and I am so into it. I love this kind of sparkly neutral eye. I think it's so pretty. It was so easy to do. All of the shadows blended beautifully and I'm excited to wear this look for the rest of my day. I'm gonna start off with my eyes primed and we're gonna go into this blue sparkly shade. I've got this on my What's Up Beauty brush and tell me this is not intense and gorgeous. You can't do it. This beautiful, beautiful matte shade. Look how pigmented that is, but also so easy to blend, no trouble whatsoever. Like, it is absolutely gorgeous. I'm just gonna kind of wrap it around and then we're gonna put this like blue color on the lower lash line. I'm gonna drag it just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, making sure I have that nice and coated. And then I'm gonna use this eyeliner just to like complement the blue in the waterline. And I'm gonna do this blue shimmery shade on the inner corner. This is such an easy look, y'all. I'm just gonna throw on some mascara and that'll complete it. Very easy, but colorful and fun. And you know, I'm here for it. I do have my Sigma Ignite eyeshadow base down and we're gonna do a purple dramatic dark type of look. So I wanna start with the deepest, darkest purple matte down here called Lunar Eclipse. I'm gonna start by putting this purple down and I wanna pack it on first. So we'll do our blending in just a minute, but right now I'm just really gonna press this dark purple shade all into my socket, so I can kind of map out where I want it to be and like where I want the depth to be, and then we'll buff in a minute, but I'm just pressing that right on top of my primer. I'm gonna bring it down to the lid too. So it's gonna look a little silly right now because I'm just getting that visual, but I'm gonna take it on the lid in the outer corner. I don't wanna take this up too high. I wanna keep it a little bit lower. And I'm also going to press this on the lower lash line, but not come all the way in, just on the lower lash line, like the outer half. After that, I will slowly blend, but I'm not worried about making it perfect because we're gonna bring in another shade to blend with. I'm gonna grab another brush from my favorite set and go into Dark Matter. This really pretty, cool lilac-y color that has a little bit of sparkle to the matte. It's gonna buff and blend away, but I have it on this very fluffy brush and I'm gonna use this just to buff this purple out. So that's why I was saying, like, I'm not super worried about blending too much because I really wanted to incorporate this shade in the look, and we'll blend once instead of blending every single step. I'm gonna be careful not to take this like blending up too high because I want to keep the look obviously intense and purple, but I want to not let it get like too high. So I'm gonna keep it a little lower and make sure I don't get too carried away. I want to take just a little bit of this pinky shade called Crater, and I want to put that underneath the lower lash line with that deeper purple, kind of how we use the lighter purple up top. I want to just add in a little bit of this pinky shade on the lower lash line. Subtle bit of pinky purple right out here. Now I'm going to go in with the shade Pluto, and I'm going to spray my shimmer after I pick it up on my brush. I always spray my shimmers. I'm going to press this on first to get the shade off my brush before I blend. This is such a pretty intense shade, like really beautiful. And I like how this palette has multiple different shimmer formulas, which Oden's Eye does a lot, and I really like that. So this is almost a more like soft putty-like type of shadow. There are some shadows in here that are a little more like a typical type of texture, some that are more sparkle heavy than others. I mean, there's no pressed glitters, But I always like when there's different formulas, like more than just a matte and a shimmer or something like that in a palette. I think it makes it more interesting, more versatile. I'm gonna take this shade right here called Mercury, and I'm gonna pick that on my brush. I'm gonna spray my brush, of course. This shade is a similar texture, and like it feels like the same formula as the shade that we used right up here on our lid. I didn't cover up the purple matte outer corner. I want to keep that nice and matte, so I just took that shade kind of until it met up with that darker purple. But this, I'm going to kind of blend more into the matte on the lower lash line, like that. And I took my shimmer up here kind of above my lid too, because I want you to be able to see that shadow. I want to be able to see that shadow. So I took it up kind of high, and I'm going to take this shade Pretty Low. I'm going to highlight my inner corner with this shade right here called Universe. It's like this really pretty purple blue duochrome type of shade. And I'm just going to stick that right on the inner corner. And then I'm going to do liner and a lash. You know what? Let me just, more is more, right? Let me build that up just a little bit. Just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Now I can do a liner and a lash now that that's more. And here is my finished look using the purpley shades from this palette. I really enjoy this collection, and I really appreciate that I've had time to test it and play with it, so I can tell you that this is the typical Oden's Eye quality. Great quality products. If you've ever tried the brand, you know that they make pigmented mattes that are easy to blend, beautiful shimmers, face products that are just like butter and glowy on the cheeks, and I'm so excited to see them expanding this line. I know I said I love the palette. That's a given. I'm an eyeshadow palette lover, you know, but these cheek products are really beautiful, and I'm so excited that finally we got some new shades. If you're curious about more things from Oden's Eye, definitely check out some of my videos. I love talking about makeup, I love playing with makeup, creating things, and I love Oden's Eye. They are one of my favorite independently owned brands, so check out some of my videos because I can and do talk about makeup all day. Let's talk about this collection down in the comments. I would love to hear what you think.